Hey guys, I'm Joe Drake. Welcome back to another installment of 90 Day Fiancé Follow-Up. Let's jump right into news because I'm not sure if you saw, but this week on social media, two 90 Day Fiancé stars got a little candid with each other about their opinions. Now, Laura was trying to persuade Nicole to go back home and return to her daughter, May, in Florida. Now, we did talk about this in a previous episode, and I do think it's interesting because from the outside in, it looks like, yes, she could easily return to Florida from Morocco. But again, there is a pandemic happening in the world, and it's not as easy as it looks. But Laura did take to Instagram saying, Nicole, honestly, you need to return to your daughter. Do not make the same mistake I did. Now, of course, she brings that up because she thought she made the same mistake with Aladdin during her situation, but Nicole clapped back saying, my situation is not yours. And that's the bottom line here. These are two different situations, and I do agree with Nicole that Laura, having spent time on 90 Day Fiancé, has to realize that people's stories don't line up. They're not the same situation. That's why we like the show, is because we're seeing a lot of different stories. So I don't think that you can necessarily tell the other person what to do, especially if you don't know everything that's going on. But like I said, Nicole did clap back saying, Laura, I'm sorry for what happened to you, but I would never tell another cast member how their situation is because I don't know, and I don't know anyone's story. Please make no mistake, my situation is not yours. And like I said, that is the bottom line. This is only Nicole's situation to deal with, and I do think that she loves her daughter, and I just think it's a really interesting time for people to be abroad. There are travel bans going on in the world. Going back to Florida isn't necessarily the safest right now with the spikes that they're seeing. So I think in normal times, this may have been a different discussion, but we have to let Nicole make her own decisions here. Now, in other news that you may have noticed on social media is Avery talking about how 90 Day Fiancé is only about 5% true. She said, can't always believe what you see on TV. You guys get 5% of the real story, and that's constructed how the network wants the people to view the person. Now, I think there's a lot to unpack here. I have never been a producer or worked on a reality TV show of any means. However, I have produced on other television shows and been working in the industry for a while, and I will let you guys in on a little secret. Things need to be constructed. I mean, I think that's sort of the best unkept secret in terms of reality television. Everyone knows there's producers and that there's showrunners and there's PAs and there's cameramen and there's a whole behind the scenes crew working on the show. That doesn't mean they're being dishonest about what's happening in front of the camera. I think people that sign up for the show are signing up to put their real lives in front of the camera. Unfortunately, some things get left on the cutting room floor. I know that these cameras are getting hours and hours and hours of footage, and the fact of the matter is you only really have about an hour, but with commercials, maybe, 44 minutes for each of these hour-long episodes of reality TV for people to share their story. So yes, it is constructed, but I don't necessarily think that means that producers or editors are being dishonest about what's happening in front of the camera. Yes, maybe the 5% that they showed of you weren't happy with, and you wish some of the other 95% that was left on the cutting room floor was shown, but you signed up for what you signed up for. Now, Avery, I will say I agree with the latter part of your post, because Avery went on and said, I encourage everyone not to get so caught up with any kind of TV show as the truth. It's not worth it. Here's where I definitely agree. Now, I'm a reality TV show fanatic. I love it all and I watch it all, but I do think thinking about it too hard is sort of a waste of energy. Enjoy your reality TV, talk about it with your friends, but move on, because the more we sort of continue to dissect it too hard, it just becomes a waste of time. As for our OMG moment of the week, I've got to give it to Kalani's dad, because as we talked about last week, we knew this showdown was happening. So as I'm sure you guys saw on Sunday night's episode, Kalani's dad asked Asuelu to go take the dog for a walk. And that's when I started to shit my pants, because clearly he knew he was in for a very awkward discussion, confrontation, what have you, with Kalani's dad, because clearly he had not been happy with the way things had been going with the two of them. Now, I do have to say, I did think that he was not as angry as I thought he would be. I thought it would come to more of a boiling point than it did. I mean, he did say that he's trying his best not to get violent, but you're going to have to learn how to treat your wife because I'm not having that. Now, I completely agree with Kalani's dad. I'm not a father yet, but I can only imagine if someone was talking to my daughter like that, I would lose my cool. However, I also have to give a shout out to Kalani's dad for being level-headed enough to say to the cameras that he understands where Asuelu comes from and how the culture is different. And we talk about this a lot about 90 Day Fiancé. That's half the battle with these couples, is realizing that they're not from the same state, same country, same neighborhood. These are people from two different cultures around the world that have different ideals, especially when it comes to gender norms like we've discussed and what they're allowed to say or not say in front of the others. So I think it's important for everybody, not just the people in the relationship, but family and friends, to realize that that is the situation. But kudos to Kalani's dad for letting Asuelu have it, because I was about to come through the screen if he was going to swear in front of his daughter one more time. As he said, just not acceptable. Now this week, I'm going to have to ask Michael and Angela to come join me on the couch for a little couples counseling, because apparently there was a little tete-a-tete about Michael having female friends and Angela wanting to call off the wedding because of it. Now here's the thing. Michael didn't necessarily say that they were going to be women when they were meeting up with friends. He already knows that Angela has a problem with him having female friends. Now I think there are two issues here. Angela needs to accept that Michael has female friends. I don't understand this whole gender issue in straight couples, particularly that a straight man can't have female friends, or that a straight female can't have male friends. The bottom line is that's going to happen. If you're not secure in your relationship to know that that's just a fact, you might as well not be in this relationship. So that's what I have to say to Angela. Now, Michael, if you knew this about Angela, you needed to be a little bit more forthcoming and say who was actually going to be there. Now, it does look like you're keeping something under your hat if you're not admitting that there's going to be these three women at this gathering or whatever it is. I don't necessarily think you need to give Angela all the details on these women, but I think maybe just announcing the names of the people that are going to be there would help. Now, I get it, Michael. If you were to say three random female names, Angela might have had an issue, but do you think it would have been worse than what she did in storming off and wanting to call off the wedding? I think these two need to come to couples counseling and sit down and talk about this, because it's a very textbook thing that happens with couples, and I think it can be easily solved. All right, that's it for another 90-day follow-up. Don't miss us next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, I'll be leaving you with our memeable moment of the week.